and welcome to Here for the Story. I'm Sherry.
And I'm Lauren, and we're coming to you from the quintessential town of Oakdale, California. This is Here for the Story, a cozy podcast about books, creativity, and connection.
Each week, we'll be sharing what we're reading, what we're working on, and chatting with authors, creatives, and fascinating people from our little corner of the world and beyond.
Today, we are talking about books and how they impact your mood. So today it's just me and Sherry. We're going to be talking about how they show up in our real lives and affect or don't affect, and how we can expect them to affect our moods. Yeah, today is a moody episode.
It's raining outside. It feels
moody.
full of energy. I'm excited to dig into this.
Let's do it.
Let's start at the beginning.
What are you drinking and what are you reading?
Are we moving on to me first? Because I
Yeah.
was just about to ask you. Okay.
I'm going to go you first.
Oh my gosh. I am drinking something very on point today. Again, it's tea forte, per usual. I did some loose leaf turmeric chai today, and I added my horchata creamer because I can't get enough of horchata, and I'm pretty sure you told me you don't
I'm not a horchata fan.
You don't love it. It just brings me joy.
I like it.
I like it. Reading.
The list. Here she goes.
Guys, we have a problem. I've been reading a lot, and I think that is very indicative of the last week for me. I had a harder week than usual, and so books are my
Outlet.
comfort blanket. They're the thing that gets me through. So we're going to talk about a few books that I just finished recently, and then we're going to talk about what I'm currently reading. Because last night I finished a book, which is perfect for this episode. I finished an arc called Arrivals and Departures by Amanda Ward. It was a Penguin Random House arc, actually.
Love it.
If you like books like These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean, who, listeners, I think I've talked about Sarah McLean because of her Bare Knuckle Bastards books that I absolutely love. She also has a series called Hell's Bells, which I absolutely love.
More than the other one.
Hell's Bells is just phenomenal. Anyway, that one actually comes out in January 2027. I found out last night because in preparation for this episode, I decided, Sherry, it is time to make a spreadsheet. So
oh God. A book would have sufficed.
So we joke because my husband is like king of spreadsheets. And so I always wanted to get him one of those mugs that say like something but a freak in the sheets. Yeah, because I just think it's really funny. But anyway, so I made a spreadsheet, and there are books coming out in 2026.
Okay, you made a spreadsheet of the future?
Of the future new release books coming out in 2026, and there are more than a few.
Let's just say
a lot.
Yeah.
I know you know more than I do because you get all of the new releases, not in just the genre that I read primarily,
but the other genres as well.
Yeah, there's just tons. So anyway, back to the beginning. I read this arc that's coming out in June by Penguin Random House. Again, it's called Arrivals and Departures.
Author?
By Amanda Ward. And it is such a mood.
Really?
We talked about Yesteryear.
Oh, okay.
By Claire Burke. And this book is that book, I think, times 10 in the like unlikable characters section.
Okay.
So I don't know that I necessarily would recommend anyone read this book unless you want a book that will make you feel better about your own life.
Well, then that actually might sell it.
Because it is just wild. So it's about this story of a very not great, like a lot of issues going on family. The mom has issues. The 3 kids have issues. The dad is no longer in the picture, but he had issues. And somebody goes missing. And so people come in to try and find her, and it's a whole thing. I'm not going to spoil it. But basically, I just don't think that I've read a book like this in so long that makes me feel so much about like, wow, okay, I'm very grateful for our everyday.
Yeah.
Because thank goodness we don't have to deal with a lot of these issues. Forewarning, though.
This is literally my favorite kind of book.
Oh, okay. I don't 3 stars because for me the hardest part is the PSA. There is the main character there's lots of main characters because it's all third person point of view, but the main character suffers with depression, and so she's constantly having that voice in her head with depression. And I dealt with depression growing up; it's been in my family, and so for me, I was just like, ugh, I don't really want to read about this.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you're feeling a little bit down yourself, you're like, do I really want to listen to
Like,
someone
open
else's
this
mood?
door.
But at the same time, there were every little moments ideas of like moving through that. And so I can see how it could be something that's helpful. But it just felt so apropos for today
Yeah.
because it's such a mood. And after I finished it, I talked to my kids about it at the dinner table. I didn't tell them all because it's an adult book, but I did talk to them a lot about it and was just like, this is wild, man. Something that you can read can really give you a different perspective. And I'm going to say it too. This is one of the reasons why I like watching reality TV sometimes because I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful for my husband.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for my kids. Holy moly. Not to say that we have it better or like I'm judging people in a negative way because I don't mean it like that at all. I just mean like, wow.
We're gonna into this more, but I think it's funny, I think that's where you and me differ a lot.
Oh, okay,
Like,
cool.
you read to escape, and I read sometimes to, like, check my reality. Like, reality check, because sometimes fantasies too like, well, obviously, I'm not gonna be riding a dragon, jumping on a tiger that's 10 times my size, but I can overcome depression. A murder can be found,
Mm-hmm.
just stuff like that. So it kinda gives me, as weird as this may sound, hope.
I saw where you were going with
Yeah.
that. No, but and that's the thing that I didn't expect. So I'm glad I read it.
Mhm.
It was an arc that was sent to me, so I felt like I kind of needed to read it because I just those are the times where I think I'm going to get out of my
Right.
zone. Um
I love it though, because I honestly, I don't know your reading history all too well,
mhm.
but I feel like this year alone, you've read so many different books than you would normally read.
Yes, I've become so it's interesting, you're right, you don't know my reading history, but I this has been the last few years is where I really went deep in fantasy, but before that I never really read it other
Okay.
than like kids when I was a kid, like
Mhm.
I was a Harry Potter nerd, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we will dive into this more, but
Yeah.
it's the same thing of I used to read a lot of not I hate the word self-help, but like,
No, it's so true though. Yeah,
nonfiction
like,
books.
self-help is honestly needs to be viewed as a not like a negative or like an
Yeah.
insightful like a negatively insightful thing.
Yeah.
I personally love self-help. Like I've said
Yeah.
before, I love like documentary style books that expose
Yeah.
um personal opinion. Nobody has to like it, but I feel like I've learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily also believe absolutely everything that I read, but it does give me pause to reflect and also research some
Yeah.
certain things I never would have looked up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So I think sometimes I really love those books in my life. And just like this arc, it wasn't something that I really like. I kind of read it to finish it because I kind of felt like, okay, like it was page turning, but it wasn't like my favorite book that I'm like, yes, I will read this
Mhm.
again. But it does have a place in my life in the sense that exactly like you're saying, where it makes me think, it makes me appreciate, and I do feel better after I read it in the sense that I'm thinking about like how good life can be and those little things that can help you along the way.
Yeah.
So I think there's a place for it. I think that for a while I got so stuck into self help that it almost felt the opposite, where it made me feel like I was looking for problems to solve, which to me didn't feel healthy.
Mhm.
So there are definitely limits in my perspective of what I can read that makes me feel more joy or relaxing or what it's going to do for the life.
Mhm.
But that's the whole point of this episode is let's talk about the fact that what you read or what you consume can affect you negatively or positively, and it really a lot of it might have to do with the mood that you're currently in, or it could be something that gets you out of it, you
Right.
know?
Exactly.
Anyway,
That
that's
was what
one
you
book.
were reading and drinking.
That was but that was
One
one.
book.
I also wanna mention a few because
Okay.
I'm really excited about them. I also finished recently, like a few days ago, To Drown a Witch by Lindsay Olson, which is another arc that comes out July 14th. Penguin Random House debut author. I gasped. I shared on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, then this is news to you, but I shared, like, it is so good.
Maybe we
I
should record me reacting.
Oh,
I
we
want
should
maybe,
record you
yeah.
reacting because there's just so much about it. If you're a fan, so I will give a quick. If you're a fan of Heartless Hunter series, Crimson Moth, the Rebel Witch series, it's very much that vibe. It's a fantasy book. It's YA. There's no spice, but it's also dark and there's like magical, creepy creatures and stuff in it. So it's not for kids, um, unless your kids are older
Or they like creepy
or
creatures.
they're into creepy creatures.
Like,
I
my
guess.
son is into,
Yeah, there's a
like,
lot of
darkness.
death, there's a lot of
That sounds
gore.
so wrong when I say that, but, like, he
No, but
just,
I hear you.
he loves symphonic music. I hope I'm saying that right. That's, like, the bad guys in Star Wars, and
Yeah,
literally, he's like, "Let's play this," and I'm like, "You're stressing me out, bro."
yeah, my son's that way too,
He's
and it's something that fascinates him, and a part of me for the I don't know, for me, my daughter would have nightmares, so I
yeah.
won't let her watch.
Alright, Birdwalk, next one.
But anyway, that was great, and then I also don't know if we've had a chance to talk about this, but I think you finished this just recently too, was The Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. Oh my gosh, what an incredible book. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll talk about it, but
Mhm.
that was really good. And then currently, I am re-listening to When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker because The Ballads of the Falling Dragons comes out in May, and I really want to read that. And also just started our book club book, Three Bags Full by Leonie Swan, which is in May. And we're going to have a movie field trip, which sounds
Yeah.
delightful. So I'm really excited about that. Can you tell me what you're drinking and what you're
Today, I am hydrating
reading?
again. With the rain, I'm currently
Not
just
getting enough water?
not getting enough water, and that seems to be a thing. Also, the last few days, my coffee has been not so great. So I usually make coffee at home.
Mhm.
Yesterday, it was so not so great. I literally dumped it out and I went over
What's
to
going on?
Refuge. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I think it's me. I think it's
Are you
getting
putting too much or too less, or is
I
it a different
haven't
bag?
I don't know. What the coffee is not hitting.
Mm.
It doesn't taste right. It doesn't do the right things in my
Are you
brain.
drinking more water and your body's like, "This isn't water."
I don't know, maybe.
You're getting,
I
like,
don't know. I'm getting broken
you
is what
did
I
no,
am
you
because I
detoxed.
like my coffee.
I do
So
too.
I'm gonna have to figure that out. Honestly, I might be visiting Refuge today. So that might be happening. Thank you to our local coffee shop. And then I am okay, my reading list. I've read actually so I also finished Rights of Starling. I
Do we have a, like, a star rating?
honestly, here's what I have to say about my take on Rights of Starling, if I am permitted. I
Always.
love where and how Devaney has built this story out,
Mhm.
and it is, in my opinion, not like a lot of books.
Mm.
I love that she's building up to this storyline. She's adding elements in, and it's just really beautifully done, to be fully honest. A few people have come out and been critical of this book for
Mm.
being predictable or whatnot. Honestly, I read it without anything,
Mhm.
and I 'cause I'm like a detective when I read a book. I'm like, "Who's gonna die?
Mm.
What's gonna happen?" Waiting for tragedy, and for some reason, I was just, like, in this mood to just I listened to it, and I was like, "I'm just gonna listen to this and just enjoy it and have it feel like someone's telling me a story," and it was absolutely beautiful, and there was so funny because a few people were like, "Oh, I totally knew that was gonna happen," or, "I put that together," or whatever, but, like, I was legitimately in shock, and I was like,
Gasp.
"Wait, what?" And then I was like and then it was like little firecrackers in my
Yeah.
head, pop, 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 pop,
Yeah, yeah,
pop,
yeah.
like everything before I was like, "It makes sense
Yeah.
now." So that was fun, and that was just enjoyable, so I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. And then I also just recently finished Bloodbound, which may or may not come out today. I don't know. I think it comes out next week. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. Bloodbound by Elise Hunter. We talked about this on our last episode. I totally loved it. It's so different. It's a more of a story of female friendship than a romance.
Mm.
And it was just a fun book. And then the ending was like What? Which was great. So it left you on a cliffhanger, but there was, like it was kinda the same with Rights of Starling, like, I
Yeah.
wasn't, like, devastated. And
Mm.
so I'm a little bit excited/nervous for, Metal Singer 2
Mhm.
to come out,
Light wielder?
Light Wheeler, because that was the last time I think I was just and I was like, "Maybe I need to finish Onyx Storm," which,
Mm.
if you don't know this about me, Lauren has not finished Onyx Storm because 'cause I'm in a good spot, and everyone's alive and well.
Can I tell you something though
Okay.
along those lines? I literally had a conversation, we're bringing her up again, Meg from the book club, with Meg yesterday or the day before about I either need to like get my FOMO under control and not read books until they're completed series, or get over the fact that I like to reread before the next one comes out because I can't do the cliffhanger. I have to like reread it. Like Onyx Storm, I'm going to have to reread those books for the third time before the next one comes out.
Okay.
Every time because I the whatever cliffhangers that they have in books
Yeah.
1 and 2 and 3, like, I have to reread it fresh or else it doesn't feel like I know what's going on in the
I
next
get that,
one.
I get that.
So I need to either stop reading, like, if they're not fully finished, I need to stop reading, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I was like
I'm just gonna keep living the
yeah,
chaos.
yeah, I'm like, I I'll tell you a thing, but also, I'll just finish this up
Yes,
because
please
I
share.
just started and I'm a few chapters into The Midnight Train, which comes out,
Oh,
I wanna say in June by Matt Haig. He also wrote The
yeah.
Midnight Library. And so I've been kind of switching it up. Honestly, I think I have actually finished another book, but I can't remember what it was.
This is
Rapid
why I made a
This
spreadsheet.
this is tying into my rapid fire question later, but anyways, let's get started
Okay.
on our questions.
Do you wanna go first or do you want me to go
I'd be
first?
happy to go first.
I'm kinda nervous about Lauren came in today and said
No, my rapid fires are
oh, okay, okay.
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Okay,
Okay.
hit me.
So Sherry,
Ah!
today we're here to talk about moods. We're talking
Mhm,
about books and their moods.
mhm,
First of all, I want you to give us how you feel about mood reading in general.
mhm.
And then can you name a book that has made that you can remember made you cry for the first time, made you laugh out loud for the first time,
Mm.
and made you angry for the first time?
No, no, no.
No, no, no. Okay.
It's so hard for me to remember first time, especially with books.
Or even just those scenarios. Like, are
Yeah,
there significant times where you're like, this book made me cry?
yeah. Okay, let's start so, mood reading first.
Mood reading.
So, I think we kind of brought it in already with our, like, weekly check-in, but I
Hmm.
feel so strongly about the fact that there are times in my life where I am already feeling a lot of emotions, deeply feeling body, like, I would not say I'm a low maintenance emotion person. So, like, I feel things very deeply.
Hmm.
For example, going to like a doctor's office with health anxiety and I'm wiped out, right? For the rest
Hmm.
of the day. I don't want to read something that's going to give me more anxiety. So, in that sense, I'm going to read something maybe fantasy that can't ever happen to me
Hmm.
that I can get into
So
somebody else's high sake.
unrealistic.
Yeah, but it's not really gonna whatever. Um but also sometimes I just really want a good light cozy read because I love the idea of bringing more joy into my life, and
Hmm.
especially as I've gotten older with my kids, like I'm constantly telling them I want us to seek out joy, like find gratitude, find joy for our lives, and if the book is really hard and heavy, it's not really going to bring that for me.
Hmm.
I think there's a time and place for it, but the last few years have already felt a little bit hard and heavy, so I don't wanna add more to it
Okay.
of what I'm consuming. Um, all that being said, as I've been doing reviews on NetGalley, I think I'm being introduced to books that I wouldn't pick up on my own, and it always feels like I was meant to read it, like I'm meant to learn something out of it, and so the
Yeah.
thing that I really love is that no matter what I'm picking up, I wanna find some sort of goodness out of it or some
Hmm.
sort of like life application to it. Um, growing up in high school, I was like really involved with youth groups and things like that, where I was constantly thinking about, what in my life can I improve on? How can I be a better person? Like all these like things that you do when you're a teenager of thinking like, okay, you
You
know,
have, like, the world in front of you,
yeah,
and nothing feels impossible, and you feel like you're at this precipice of choice
yeah.
where you get to choose where you're gonna propel
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah. And I went through that again too after having kids of like, okay, like how can I better myself and what can we do? And I think there's so much importance with that and I think we all should be on a growth journey, but it got to the point where I felt like self-help books in particular were kind of harming me in that I wasn't finding everyday gratitude or like contentment. I won't particularly pick something up like that if I'm in a mood of feeling like down on myself. I try to find the inspiration in, like, everyday fiction
Mhm.
books. That doesn't totally answer your question, but mood reading, like
Well, if I would it does in a lot of way those because when I tell people, like, I'm a mood reader,
mhm,
I mean it differently,
yeah,
than that, and it's always interesting because you can tell someone something about yourself,
mhm,
but they could interpret that for their
yeah,
own self,
exactly,
which means that they're interpreting what you're saying differently than your intention,
exactly.
which is interesting.
It's cool that we can both say, like, we kind of read on our mood, but it has a totally different meaning.
I hope that the YouTube is catching the sun just
The sun's
appearing.
coming out because 'cause we're talking about wonderful
The
things.
mood is light. Okay,
Angel
yeah.
voices,
And then I
yeah,
wanna hear about some books that have really brought out
yeah,
emotions,
yeah,
because I think even, like okay, emotions is the catalyst
mhm,
for the mood,
yeah,
right? So, a book that has made you cry, a book that has
yep,
made you angry, a book that has made you laugh out loud.
yeah. So, like I said, I can't remember first times, I can remember recent.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
Or
so
something just significant, because I think if you do remember it, that means it has a significance.
yeah, totally. I I will say this is kind of cliche, but I'm just gonna be a cliche because I don't really care. When I started reading the Bridgerton series, it brought me so much joy, like laugh out loud. But then there's one of the books in the series, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but it's like really down. Like there's a really down part that made me feel really sad and really like, oof.
Not fair, I wanna know which one you're talking about.
Eloise's story.
Um,
Her book, she stuff happens. I don't wanna spoil it for anybody.
okay.
But the Bridgerton series was a really, like, a catalyst for me to get really into historical romance. So
Mhm,
after I finished all of Julia Quinn's books, I went, like, hardcore into this, and this was during COVID. A lot of, like, stuff was already heightened for a lot of people, but I really found historical romance in a time that, like I don't know if it necessarily made me cry or made me, like, laugh out loud, but it just, like, brought me so much joy. Like,
mhm,
I loved all of these the thing about historical romance that really gets me is that there's always in the books that I love the most, there's always women that are living in a time period where they are treated as less than, but they are going out and they are, like, their own, like, blue stocking, like, they are taking on the world of men, and they are just like, "I'm going to be something and do something different." And I love that idea because 'cause I've always wanted to dance to the beat of my own drum, and so, like, having that as, like, an example of somebody who's lived in a certain world and they're in this really fun, flowery world to begin with, but then that they are doing something different and they're, like, not living by the rules and they're going to this, like, gambling den, they're dressing up like men and they're doing whatever, you know?
mhm,
Like, it just felt so fun for me, so that's really pivotal for me is that I will always love the historical romance genre because I think there is so much joy in it, but also there's so much examples of women just doing the thing. Like,
mhm,
they're not gonna be told that they have to sit in a certain box, and they're gonna do the thing, which I
okay,
love. Um, nonfiction book, really, really stuck with me is there's a book called Breathe. Have you ever heard of it?
Breeze.
Breathe, like I'm breathing.
Oh, breathe. Okay.
And it's all about breathing through your nose, which is like does not sound like
This is the most left
emotional
field.
at all. But I can't remember the author's name because I read
Wh-
it like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'll think of it and we'll put it in the show notes. But he's this guy who did this experiment where he like breathed through his mouth for a very long time to see what it would do for his body. And then he did mouth taping and he breathed through his nose and yada yada. There might be conspiracy. It might be like I don't know. I don't know what the real science is, but he has a lot of science in the book.
Okay.
But it really affected me in a weird way in that I thought, like, you know, isn't it silly that something so simple as like breathing through your nose can affect your entire life? Like, it just made me think really deeply about how intentional we can be with little tiny things like getting up in the morning and having a glass of water or like breathing through my nose or like what I'm putting on my phone and what I'm consuming. Like, it just felt very impactful. And I will
Yeah.
always think back to that book and be like, little things like that, like one little hack or like Atomic Habits. Have you ever read?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that they can just change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
So that felt like a very big, impactful.
Yeah.
It didn't make me cry. It didn't make me laugh. It just felt like that is something that changed my outlook.
Okay.
Does that make
So your
sense?
mood in a way where maybe,
That you can learn from everything.
yeah, and almost positively.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound negative in any light, but
No.
really like heighten your awareness.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get mad at books. I'm just going to be honest.
Okay, really?
I feel like a lot of people were going to bring it up. Metal Slinger. If you haven't read Metal Slinger by now, you should pause.
Spoiler.
I'm going to spoil something. If you have, so many people were mad at the end of Metal Slinger, and I like clung to it, and I felt like this is so cool, and I immediately reread it, and then I reread it again for book club, and I just feel like it didn't make me mad. It made me like, oh, I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and that could like piggyback on your women doing the thing
it's different.
because it is, I'll be honest, I love me a female, like when the woman did it in a murder mystery
Mm-hmm.
or a thriller,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, okay, I don't know.
Unexpected.
It's, yeah. Or, and then like she's just a turd, but then my thing is like I'm way too understanding of anybody.
That's not a bad thing,
I
though.
know, but I'm always like, well, there's probably a reason that they did
Yeah,
that and, whatever.
that's
So
great.
and the series isn't finished. So I wasn't I was I was heartbroken at the end of
Mm.
that book because I really admired, and people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Lauren, roll eyes." But I really liked their romance. Like I loved that like he came for her and he fought for her, and
Mhm.
then even the ridiculous journey in the water and all that, like that book, so many great
But do
emotions
you think that
pulled out of
that's,
me, but
like,
I
not
don't
gonna happen? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm too hopeful. I'm just like, "Of course they're gonna end up
I don't know.
together."
Someone was saying the other day, like, she's so reckless, like she's gonna kill one of them. I can't remember who I was talking to, and
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
one of the main characters is gonna die, and I was like, I don't even know how that plays out. But
Yeah.
anyways, I feel like there's other side characters that are gonna come up in book too that will be like exciting. But I always tell people when they're reading a book and they're angry, I'm like, that is when you know it's a good book because it
Mhm.
actually made you mad. Because otherwise, you could really just not care at all.
Yeah.
You could just be like, that guy's a dick,
Yeah.
But if you're like, what? Like at the end of Rites of Starling, I cursed and I don't like to do that, but I was just like, fudge.
Yes.
And
Frick.
and then at the end of Bloodbound, I was like, "Ah, wait, what
Wait,
is happening right
wait.
now?"
I really need you to read To Drown a Witch now,
Okay.
because that's also a book
Well,
where at
and
the
then you
end
need
you're
to read
like,
Bloodbound
"Ugh, I
because
do need to read
okay,
Bloodbound."
anyways, I think that anger being brought out in a book is really cool. I think
Yeah.
if an author can make you hate a character, fall in love with a character,
Mhm.
or even I'm gonna bring Star Wars in again just because it's on
Star
my frontal lobe,
Wars.
but, like, when you can redeem a character,
Yeah.
when you can make someone hate a character and then redeem them,
Rise
like,
of the Starling.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
We're not gonna spoil it, but yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah. Redeem I know that I'm
redeemable.
probably on the, like,
Everybody's
low end,
redeemable.
but don't you think I think that Tamlin deserves a redemption.
Redemption story. Okay, so I hear you, but I would like to get away from fantasy really quick
Mhm.
and discuss Abby Jimenez, The Night We Met. I apologize
I wanna read that, yeah.
if I didn't say the last name correctly. So I've read the last two books in her series, and the third book will be a redemption story. She's already
Mm.
announced that. If you haven't read it, I love it. But honestly, I'm so excited for it because I cannot stand him.
Ooh,
And I'm
so
like,
that'll be fun.
this bro really messed up. Like, you have to not like him enough to be okay with the story as it unfolds,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. And so I am so excited because I love, in a lot of ways, being proven wrong by people
Mm.
and seeing people for who they are. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for that, but I think it's really good to read books like that because then I feel like I give human beings, physical human beings, more grace.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how far I've just taken us off.
No, but it all circles back to the idea that what we're reading is going to affect us, not just our moods, but who we are. I do feel like because I read more books and I see the backstories, I am often thinking of humans around me thinking, I have no idea what's going on in their life and think of what they could be going
Mhm.
through and that could affect how they are acting or what they're saying and giving more grace for that.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about you enjoy reading fantasy because it feels less like the real world
Yes.
and it gives you a little bit of escapism
Mhm.
and all that. And then you just recently talked, what book did you just read that felt like you were okay, the one you were just talking about, the reality,
Oh, arrivals and departures?
arrivals and departures, where
Yep.
you get that feeling of like, thank goodness my life is the life I have.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you think that means for most people? Because I would say stuff like that is very popular
Mhm.
outside of the book realm,
Mhm.
but people don't realize it is a part of the book realm. So I think people watch reality TV. They love to watch reality TV,
Mhm.
but I don't think that people realize they have the opportunity to have that same stuff in a book. And so I'm going to just take some liberties for a
Yeah.
second.
Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of people who are into watching reality TV are like, maybe they don't love to read. And I'm not saying that if you watch reality TV, you're not a reader, but let's just put you in a boat of you're either like reading or you're like, hey, I'm going to watch reality TV.
Mhm.
That there are books out there that are very similar to feeling like you're watching reality TV.
Mhm.
Um, what would you maybe say to someone? Maybe I'm not forming this question right, but what would you say to someone who's like, I'm not a reader. I prefer because you like to escape. I'm circling it back. I'm getting there. That they can read a book and feel like they're watching reality TV and escape from their life, but feel good about their life.
Yeah. It's so hard because for me, I have so much connotation with escape, so it's hard for me to label myself as wanting to escape because I don't
Okay.
know if I wanna
Well,
say
and
that,
I
but
don't
that's
think
okay.
escape is a bad
It's
thing. I
not a bad
also
thing.
don't think viewing other people's doing the comparison model is a
Yeah.
very human instinct.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing it with malice, I
Yeah.
don't know that and I could be wrong, that it's that bad.
No.
If you can look at it and go, you know what? All right, I'm okay.
Yeah. No, 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 and I'm not trying to say that. I was just that was my
No, for sure.
my caveat. But I think for me, so I watch reality TV too.
Okay.
I watch Love is Blind. I just finished that season finale, which is like, whew, that was a rough one. I don't know if you watch Love is Blind, but
I feel like every time I try to watch Love Is Blind, I just fast forward to the end to figure out what happens, and I'm like, I don't like you people.
I always spoil it for myself and I wait until it's all done and I'm like, okay, which couples are gonna be together, and then you watch it through, and it's way more interesting, I'm just gonna say.
Okay.
Anyway, so I watched that, and for a while, I watched, like, The Bachelor. I haven't gotten into, like, the Real Housewives series yet, but that's just I just haven't. But anyway, I do watch it, but I always it really is this one I think it's just mindless entertainment in the sense that you're kind of like, "Okay, this is going on." But a huge part of it for me with, like, the loved ones is I see how awful it is sometimes, and it makes me feel a lot better about myself, which is the worst thing ever, but I'm like, "Oh, I just can't imagine having to date that." Oh
Or
gosh,
well,
I'm
I mean,
so
I don't think it's
grateful.
that bad because I honestly think if because a lot of people read books and they're like, "Oh, I don't want this fake relationship,"
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't so let's go to the other side. You flip the coin, and there's books out there that kind of really do talk about real relationships,
Mhm.
real hardships,
Mhm.
and you can turn around and go, "You know what? I'm grateful for the love that I have. I'm grateful for my husband," because it is I don't know if I'm explaining this well enough, but it is the flip of the coin,
Yeah.
and I don't think that people really fully understand that there's books out there that
Mhm.
have that same
No, I hear you.
feeling.
No, that's the thing, and that's so the thing that I liked a lot about historical romance was that it was and even contemporary I'm not as much into contemporary romance because I don't like seeing, like, texting on the page. For me, it just kinda takes me out of the magic of reading, but I do think that when you have some sort of romance in a story, for me, it ties back to the reality TV series too, where you get to see somebody have that first feeling of excitement. You get to see
Mhm,
somebody have that first feeling of like self-consciousness of whether they're going to end up together. And I think there's so much importance in that where we have been told, oh, it's just romance. Oh, it's like women writing this and there's no importance in that because of whatever our society and how we've been brought up.
mhm,
And I think there is so much importance to that and I think there's so much in that that you can see and you can take and you can remember that feeling and take it out of there and love on your spouse if you have one or know what you want in the
mhm,
future. I think it can for me, there's people that get really upset about they're like, "Oh, well, it sets unrealistic expectations." And I think that's something that's valid
mhm.
and also, everything that you do can be that way, even if you're talking about Instagram and people putting, like, their, highlight reels and all the things. I agree, that's out there. And you also need to take some agency for yourself and what you are consuming in the sense that, like, you get to choose
Yeah,
what you watch and what you get out of it. Like, I think it's so cool. We've been talking I follow this lady that's, like, a child psychologist online, and she's been talking about kids and, having their first crushes and, like, how you communicate with them. And she gave, like,
my eyes are
such
bugging out of my head.
well, she gave really good advice, and I love it, and I've talked to my kids about it now too, of the idea that, like, if they do come home and they say, like, a crush, like, talk to them about what is it that you like about this person? What do you have something in common with them? Okay, be friends. Don't take this, like, idea that you have to be a crush and then you, like, stay away from them. Like, if you like that person because you like something that they're talking like, that they're doing, if you like them because of what they're interested in
It's like an
or
introductory emotion.
to figure out
Yeah,
how to have, like, words for the things that you like about somebody and then to be able to kind of take that later and it doesn't mean it has to change your relationship with them. You can still be friends and it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like
mhm,
so I think we need to have a little bit more agency in what we take out of books and what we take out of reality TV and try to be like what can I find out of this that's going to help me and inspire me?
and this is so valid for the whole mood idea because if you are not taking agency, if you're not aware of your own crutches, it's a
Mhm.
little bit of self-awareness, I think, in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. I think to understand if you're a mood reader or not, you have to have a little bit of understanding of your own personal strengths and struggles. Because if you're like diving into romance and you're trying to date and you cannot figure out why you can't find any guy that matches up to these people in books, then you might want to look at like the reality of what you're consuming.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing that's very valid. Like, is this making me feel worse about my life? Is this making me like find the good things that I do want and recognize that that's not real? Like they're not real romance stories. Like, you
Mhm.
obviously know that. I know that. But that doesn't mean that we can't have it in our lives.
Mhm.
Like, it's
No, for sure.
still fun.
Yeah. But
But
it's not
yeah.
always gonna be like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's so much to be said with reading things that are fun and can change your viewpoint and taking the good out of it and then just leaving the rest.
Mhm.
Because I don't think you have to be like, "Oh, I can't have it at all." Like, that's how I feel about Instagram as well. Like, I love the community that we get with books, with art, that we can, like, talk to somebody that's across the world, and I'm just gonna leave the rest. And if
Yeah.
it's something I don't like, then I'm gonna hide it, and I'm gonna ignore it, and I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that makes me seem
No, I love it
a
because
certain way.
honestly, if you follow me on Instagram, I literally post I don't prep post
I love
99% of the
you.
time. So, like, if I'm posting about being angry or sick or happy or joyful or whatever, it's because I'm literally this is
Yeah,
occurring in real
in
time.
real time. Love that.
Mhm.
You see your brain looks like it's thinking
My
something,
brain
you
and my
wanna say
wheels are
something.
turning. Honestly, one of the things I thought of is I thought of 2 different things while you were talking,
Yes.
and I think about the Mormon housewives.
I never watched that, but yeah, Mormon Life's
I remember
Wife.
watching it for the first time and just being, like, in shock and awe.
Mm,
I have a low-key sideline, very fascinated with, Mormon religion and culture.
mhm,
I won't dive into that right now, but that's what made me watch it. And now I think they're, like, 4 seasons in, but I was at a point in my life when the 2nd season came out, and I was watching these women, and I understand the way reality TV works, and I was very just sad for them. I
mm,
was really sad to just watch them because also not only is it affecting them, I think it is affecting like they all have children. Not that the Real Housewives or the rich ones don't have kids too, but I think as we consume reality TV, I look more and more at how um, there's an entire generation that's going to be impacted by it, by the trickle down, the
mm,
my mom's on reality TV, so she's
mhm,
always worried about I don't know if this is realistic, but she's always worried about the way she looks. She's fighting with her friends. Maybe they're keeping it closed off and they're not showing their kids these problems, but there's no way that those things don't somehow trickle down into their kids'
mhm.
lives. It's probably just impossible, but that's one of those things where, like, that was a thing that made I stopped watching it because I kept like, that mood that it gave me, the
Yeah,
emotion that it gave me towards the affected parties
mhm,
was so vast. So, like, I could read something like that in a book. Watching it on TV is so hard for me.
yeah.
And then, like, sidebar, Into the Blue by Emma Brody. I really gotta learn how to say people's last names. Into the Blue by Emma Brody.
Mhm,
Lisa, one of our gals, just watched it or read it, watched it.
mhm,
And she was saying, like, Lauren, I was crying so hard. The romance, she was like, I hope they, wind up together. It was so beautifully written. She was just totally aghast by the ending of this book. Happy with it, but sad. There's all sorts of different things. But it's funny because she's someone who likes to read fantasy and I would say she kinda likes to escape, but she's reading a lot of other stuff, but
mhm.
it's so funny to watch people switch up their genre
Yeah,
and see how it affects them. And I don't mean that like in malice, it's just really fascinating because I know how it affects my mood. I know how if I'm in a certain mood, I know I need to read something in a
mhm,
certain mood, but also reading something can impact me if I'm not prepped for it.
mhm. Yeah, let's get do you can I move
That's
into your
no, go for
questions?
it because I don't
Okay,
think we're gonna have enough time for all the questions.
okay. Well, we've already established that you're more of a mood reader
Mhm.
than a stick to your TBR, but do you feel like that's actually how it's working out in your real life? Like, as a bookstore owner, you're running book clubs, you're getting lots of ARCs. Are you more often than not reading what's next on the must-read list versus, like, your mood at the moment? Or, like, maybe you want to read by your mood, but you're kind of forced into reading other
No.
books? No,
No, because I was never a reader, so for me to read, it is I think still to this day, it has to be the right book.
has to be.
Otherwise, I read pages and I'm lost in thought,
Mm.
or I just don't wanna read it,
Yeah.
and I don't think that is something that will ever change about me. I
Mm.
cannot focus enough to read something I don't wanna read.
Yeah.
I'm a total advocate for if you're not enjoying something, especially a book, put it down,
Mhm.
and that if you don't enjoy reading, you have not found the right book.
Yeah.
So people will say, "Oh, I'm not a reader," like, "Oh, I can't picture it, I can't this, I can't that," and I've just started saying, like, "You just haven't found the right story."
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Like,
believe that anybody is not a reader, I believe that we're all readers, I think that there's just not the right book.
yeah. Oh, I feel that 100%. Have you ever picked up a book and, like, I think so, but I'm gonna ask you this anyway. Have you ever picked up a book and it completely shifted your mood for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week?
100%.
100%. Is there something, like, in particular you're thinking about, and for the good or for the bad?
Well,
Okay.
I wanna talk about this because I think we've been alluding to it for so long.
Yes.
Yeah, took me off guard. I picked that book up because someone was like, I think it was you. Did you send it to me on someone?
I don't know.
I think one of our customers sent it to me on social media,
I mean, I
and
know I pressured you into finishing it.
I think she was like, and then I asked you about it, and you were like, I got it on NetGalley or something like that,
Mhm.
and I had requested it, or I don't know. It was a very short period of time when the two of us started reading it separately, but then together.
Mhm.
And the first few weeks, I literally had nightmares, and I
Mhm.
could not come together with that. Like, I didn't wanna read it, but there was also so much of that book that was, like, heavy hitting for me as a mom. I took snapshots because I couldn't highlight because
Yeah.
in NetGalley,
Yeah.
I wanted to annotate so bad. She puts being a mom into words like I have never seen before
Mhm.
because it's not the fluff.
Right.
It's not, "This is the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. Congratulations, you're pregnant." It is like losing your identity as a woman and becoming a mother and how that will pivotally change your entire life. And that was honestly a really hard thing for me to muddle through. I
Mm.
wanted to finish the book, but I needed to get past that. And then once I got past that, the emotions that came out of me were like, "What the heck is happening in this book?" Like, I felt like I was
So wild.
reading 3 different genres,
Yeah.
and then there was confusion. There were so many, like, torn emotions, and then I will say it kind of messed with my ability to move forward in reading for a bit.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys, like, remember, but I was, like, not able.
You have
I
a
was
lot
like,
going on.
I had a lot going on, but also I've had a lot going on in
Yeah.
red.
Yeah.
But I think that that's what it was. I needed something to pull me out of that book.
Mhm.
And I've had those, like, shock and awe moments before. My husband's wife, that book was so shock and awe, and it was great because it was like boom, 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 but it made me just want more.
Mm.
Yesteryear, I think I, like, couldn't get back to it,
Yeah.
and Metal Slinger was the same way for me. I started 4 books after finishing Metal Slinger, and maybe what I should have done is just restarted it,
Yeah.
but I finished 4 book or I started 4 books, and none of them paled in comparison, like,
Yeah.
within the first chapter, and I was like, "I don't even wanna read this." Like, I was so distraught
Mm.
from the ending that I was like, I couldn't get into something
Yeah.
else.
And how do you feel, this isn't one of my questions, but, like, I'm just looking at you and thinking about it, like, do you feel like you automatically need to talk to somebody about it, or do you feel like you need your space to, like, think on it before, like, when you have that reaction from a book, or how do you?
I think that what I realized is I don't know what to say. Even when I have a
Mm.
reaction like that,
Mhm.
Lisa and I were talking about Bloodbound. Maybe it's because 'cause we're still in environments where we don't wanna spoil it.
Yeah.
That could be it because there was other people around. But I think that when I'm left with that, like,
Yeah.
whether it's good, like, Rites of Starling, I don't even know what to tell you right now about it. Like, I can tell you, like, the things I know, but I'm just like, "Ah,"
Yeah.
and I just wanna have that with someone else.
Yeah. I will tell you, when I finished that one, I was so upset that nobody else had finished it yet, and I was like, "I need someone to talk to about this." I'm very much the type that I wish that I could talk to somebody while I'm reading it though, because there's moments when things hit, like even in a stage
Mhm.
set for villains where I was like, I wish someone was at the same pace, like the same
Mhm.
place. And I tried to talk to my husband about it, but he was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, seriously. I actually asked my husband to describe a book he read, and I was like, "This is terrible. You're never allowed to work at the store." Like, and he's a total reader, but he just it's like when you're a wife and there's drama at husband's work and you're like, "Tell me what's going on." And he's like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
She moved out." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Did they get a divorce? What's going on?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And you're like, "You didn't ask
I didn't ask any
questions?"
questions. Never. So many questions, but I'm trying to like narrow them down. Hmm.
I also have to say one book I can remember. I'm like answering my own question here.
Yeah, that's good.
I can remember the first time I cried in a book,
You can.
and it was Nicholas Sparks, and the
Hmm.
book was Rescue Me. I don't know, I'm probably getting this wrong. It's a firefighter romance. I read it in college. It was the first time I couldn't put a book down.
Hmm.
And I read Harry Potter with my mom. I read other books before that,
Yeah.
but, like, I remember specifically sitting in our little chair in our apartment in Santa Rosa, and Eddie had gone to sleep, and I was up till 11:30 or midnight just finishing the book,
Hmm.
and spoiler alert, his best friend dies in a
Oh.
fire, and he's, like, married, and Eddie is going through like, he just gets a job at this same exact time, and I was just like the reality of the life we were about to live hit so
Oh
hard
yeah, I'm
with
sure.
that, and yeah,
Oh
I'll never forget that, and I remember thinking I loved reading at that moment
yeah.
in college and thinking like, "This book made me cry," because I don't think even at that time TV made me cry. I think when I had my kids, everything made me cry, but just the ability to cry through a
Hmm.
book was kind of like a big shift for me.
I feel so like something's wrong with me because I don't cry at books very often, but I cry at like almost every TV show. Like we'll be watching a cupcake challenge and like they do well and I cry. Or like I watched a random show. Have you ever seen Sirens on Netflix? I
No.
watched something there and somebody was having a hard time and
It
I cried and I was like, why am I just tear up a lot
yeah.
with shows.
Have you ever seen, what's the one where it's like a family, but they're triplets, but they're not all?
Oh Yeah, I had to stop watching it. It made me
'Cause
cry all the time.
every single
It was
episode
too much
makes you
crying.
cry. This is Us.
Grey's Anatomy, I
Oh, yeah,
watched like the
won't do
first
it.
episode, cried.
Casey Grey's Anatomy, and her and Katie watched it, and someone said the other day it's still going, and I was like, "Nope,
Yeah,
not
it's like
no, I'm
40
good."
seasons in.
You know what? I would like to, give a shout out to the original Doctor TV show, which is ER.
Oh,
If
yeah.
nobody ever watched that in the '90s,
Yeah.
you're missing out.
Good
That
shout out.
that's where Lauren's at. You can watch Grey's Anatomy all day. I wanna see reruns of ER.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more real question before we're gonna do our rapid fires. But let's talk about reading different genres depending on what's going on in your life.
Okay.
Is there like a certain genre that you might avoid when you're in a certain headspace, or a certain genre that you're like, I want to go to if you're in a certain headspace?
That's a really good question. For me, I think I'm very hyper aware of myself. I try to be hyper aware of my flaws. So sometimes when I am depressed, I want to read a depressing book.
Mm.
If I am happy, I want to read a happy book. If I need to just kind of blaze through a book, that's when I pick up fantasy. Cuz fantasy books are honestly so well woven. Like if you don't like fantasy, that's okay. That's totally like your preference, but honestly, I'm always amazed at the way people can build a world and create this space and think of all these things to come together. So I applaud them for that. And I love that I can just like read that at any time to just kind of breeze through a book, which just sounds funny because those are also the thicker ones. The ones that take me the most time are the 200-page or the 300-page
Mm.
books.
Hmm.
The 800 fantasy, I can just woo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I love that. That's a great answer.
yeah, I don't even know if that actually answers it.
No,
Sometimes I
it's
feel like I'm
perfect.
like not actually answering questions and just talking.
That's how I always feel. That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's do some rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
A book boyfriend or a morally gray villain?
Book boyfriend.
Stay up way too late reading or wake up early to read?
Wake up early.
Cry in public while reading or wait until you're alone?
Wait until I'm alone.
Some people are okay with crying in
Yeah,
public,
well,
though.
I unfortunately have this thing where when I start crying, I can't stop.
Makes sense.
Yeah, don't ever make me laugh too hard.
Okay, phone on silent or your volume always on?
I prefer my phone on silent. However, after owning a business, I keep my phone on loud all the time. Otherwise, I miss everything.
Yeah. I say, well, mine more with kids. I have to keep it on. Clean as you go, or are you a big chaotic clean later?
Both.
Okay. Text a friend about a book immediately or process it solo?
Text a friend.
Automatically. Cool. Slow burn or instant chaos?
Slow burn.
Take a nap or push through?
Take a nap.
Overpack or underpack?
Under.
Mark or whatever scrap of paper that you can find.
Scrap.
I
For
love
sure.
these and I want to dive into them each separately, but we don't have time for that
Okay,
today.
I'm gonna ask you my questions.
They're in your
Okay.
brain. You don't even have
They're in
no
my
paper?
brain
Oh
because
my God. How do you do it?
literally I have to preface that Dr. Hartford was like, I already have the answers to the questions, so I hope you're having fun with this. But I was like, I'm gonna ask some questions for Sherry. But I don't know. I'm just like a deep thinker. I love it. Like, okay.
I don't even know where
I think
to
you're
start.
gonna hate these.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm ready.
In a world
Yes.
where for every book you read, you got another year of your life or another year of life,
Okay.
or every book you read, you lost 1 day of life. And I have to preface, I know you're a big reader, so I know you can't not read,
Yeah.
but like, what do you do?
I would read forever. So I can read more books every day.
And just watch everyone else around you
No,
perish.
but listen, if it's a world where I can do that, then everyone's going to become a reader around me and they're getting the same thing.
No, it's only you.
Nope, that's the way I make it.
She's like, this is how I view this.
Of course. Oh, no. I mean, listen, I am in the mid of hopefully more less than middle of my life, but I don't know. But I just feel like I never will be like, nope, I'm not gonna I'm gonna read less.
Yeah.
Or
Yes. My next question to you is, if you could be any character in a book, who would it be?
oh, if I could be any character in a book, who would it be?
Preferred answer would be name,
Shoot.
like not like a witch. I want you to be
No.
like,
There's so many books that names are coming and flying at my
ooh, I love this.
I can't like it's hard because there's so many. I feel like listen, if I'm going to be anyone, it's going to be somebody that lives a long time. Like they have to be fae.
Okay.
I think it'd be really sick to fly, but I can't think of any females that fly. I'm only thinking of the Bat Boys because I've been re-listening to Akatar. I'm like, I don't want to be one of them. Uh, shoot. I have no answer to this. This is not
Well, the rapid fire would be the first name that came to you,
the
right?
first thing that came to me was like one of the Bat Boys.
Oh, you'd be like
I'd be
Azrael
like
or who?
Reese
Oh, the
Hands.
sun.
But I can't be him. And I don't want to be Farah because, well, she does have. I'll be Farah.
Okay.
Farah, not Farah.
Favorite? Okay, my next question
Yes,
for you.
yes.
You are stuck in a book.
Ooh.
It is sci-fi
Okay.
or political.
Ugh. Sci-fi.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, she'd go for the sci-fi. I would feel like people are starting to, I think, come around fantasy, romance, all that stuff. The genres ebb and flow, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're starting to come back to sci-fi.
Yeah.
But when we first opened up, I had a much larger sci-fi section, and like the volume of people that came in here to read sci-fi was so tiny
Yeah.
that it was like, but I was like, no, because I I kinda love sci-fi in a lot
Yeah.
of ways, like, I think it's really kind of fascinating, like,
Mhm.
you think fantasy world building is cray cray, like,
Yeah.
sci-fi
Yeah,
is cray cray,
worlds.
and then,
Well,
and then you
that's
merge the
deep.
2 and you get, like, dystopian,
Mm.
but I think dystopian and sci-fi are gonna be making a comeback. I've been
Oh, yeah.
saying that for a while, but I know a lot of people just don't like sci-fi, and a
Mhm.
lot of people don't like politics either, so
Yeah.
that's my question. If you had to be and I always, like, think about, like, you open the book and you're just like, "Jump in it," and I'm like, "In the book."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is that there's probably a lot more danger for you jumping into a sci-fi than there is jumping into
Mhm.
a politics book.
Yeah, you could be cut up with a light sword saber.
What's for
Okay, one more question. If you are in a fantasy world,
Yep.
what is the weapon of your choice?
Feel like it's gotta be a sword.
Okay, she goes with a
Uh,
sword.
I have no arm strength for that sword,
Okay.
but I think I'd work out. I'd be buff.
Should we do a sword class at
Yes.
the store, like a sword
Sword.
yoga?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that concludes
That concludes our
my rapid fire, which was the least rapid fire. Yours was better.
I went for real rapid fire.
Yeah,
You like to get deep. That doesn't feel rapid to me.
I
It's
do. Maybe that's my
hard.
problem. Well, this has been fun. If anyone wants to come talk more about moods or drops, if you guys want to drop in the like emails, send us some of your most mood what's the word? I want to say mood making, but that's going to go the other direction.
Changing.
Mood changing or the book
When
that
you're in a mood, you read
yeah,
this.
yeah. Tell us
I
about
love
your
that.
moods, cause and also, like, some books that have brought something out of you. I think to pull an emotion out of someone is kinda awesome, so
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from our people if anyone has any book recommendations that have drawn an emotion out of you.
And yes, again, you can message us at hereforthestorypodcast@gmail.com. We'll have that in the show notes. And if you have an idea for a topic for a future episode or someone that you think would be a good guest, or if you think you would be a good guest on the podcast, reach out.
Yeah,
Talk to us.
yeah.
We have some shop events coming up. Are you still doing the April book crawl?
We are finishing off the April book crawl. We've been doing that in Central California. It's been phenomenal for all the bookshops. And also in this time, there's actually been 2 bookshops that have opened up, one in Lodi and another one that's opening up in Twain Harte, which is past
Ooh,
Sonora. So that's been really cool. But we've seen a lot of people from all over. We had gals who came all the way up from Fresno
wow.
on Saturday to do our book crawl. So like
That's fun.
kudos to that.
Hmm.
So we're finishing that up. What about you? What's going on?
We have a workshop going on this Thursday, but by the time this episode comes out, it'll already have passed. The only thing I'm thinking about is that we've got the book club happening here.
Yeah, book club.
3 Bags Full is in May, and then we're reading something in the next
Oh, we're
month.
reading How to Age Disgracefully
Oh, I can't
by
wait for that. I don't
so
remember.
something.
I have it in my books or in my coming up. How to Age Disgracefully by Claire Pooley. Close.
Yeah, not close at all. Claire Pooley.
And then 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan. That's the book club for May. That's I
Yeah,
think will be a week away by the time that this releases. But those are my things in the future happening. And the Oakdale Morning Market, if you're local, is starting on May 2nd. And I do marketing for that. And we're
every
excited.
Saturday
Every Saturday till
until
September.
September. That's super exciting. We have a ton of amazing local vendors that come out to that. And parking is always the best at the bookshop.
Yeah, come say hi to Lauren on
Yep.
Saturday. Agreed. And
Any
my
anything
brain's
else?
I'm
I look forward we have a few other guests that are gonna be coming on soon, which we're excited to show, and so if you've seen any of our guests or heard about any of our guests, they check them out and follow them, and then my husband's in the background.
That's hilarious. Thanks so much for
Alright,
spending time with us.
thank
We'll be back
you.
soon.
Yep, until next time.
Happy reading.
Bye.